pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we'll have the introduction of members. We have Larkin Ripa, Angie Robinette, Margaret Beavers, Ed Evans, I'm Georgia West, and Amanda. I start to say Forgill.
That's good. I like it.
I know by Amanda Forgill, and every time I'm like, okay. The first thing is to approval the minutes of September the 11th, 2025 regular session. We have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Margaret,
Second.
second by Angie. Do you have any questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We have no delegation of speakers. And the discussion items are the transportation updates. Adam Griggle, Direction of Transportation, will do a presentation.
Okay, you got a clicker, Walt? If you don't have one, I just have to do it here. Okay. Okay, guys, what I want to talk about is just like this year here, we have 55 total buses, that's with spares, 35 daily routes with 5 special needs routes. We have taken a larger bus. If you notice the last 2 buses I've bought 2 77 passengers with the handicap ramp, because the majority of the time, some of these little buses, we call them express buses, are going to, larger buses are going to the same areas. That way, if we end up with a student, all I have to find is an aide. If I can find one, then I'm good to keep that bus without adding another bus. Of course, that's just a list of my drivers, my 5 substitute drivers. If you look at my sub list, Mr. Harmon is only available on Fridays due to other commitments where he's a Welton City police officer. Todd Mullins has some medical issues. Terry Earls has been running since day one. Keisha will help me out in the afternoon. She is taking nursing classes out here at the vocational, and Ricky's been driving since day one. So that's all I have. The trouble is now is we just don't have any subs available. I have some in training, but sometimes they will stay with us, sometimes they will leave. Mechanics, I have Alan Smith, he's the chief. The year started out kind of rough since July. Everybody knows David had a heart attack in July, so I lost him until last Monday. He came back to work, so he was out the whole month of July, August, and came back about 5 days ago. So it's been pretty tough on the only 2 guys trying to keep up with 55 buses plus the maintenance vehicles and all that, and maintaining them. It kind of, some stuff we try to farm out. If it's going to take us a long period of time to get it repaired, we'll try to send those out. Of course, that increases your budget on, when you start adding that up, that starts costing you too. Mechanics duties, they do PM preventive maintenance. They have to be done every 20 days. So that kind of rolls around. People think, well, 20 days is a pretty good time, but you start taking 55 buses, that rolls around pretty fast to try to keep those in. Now, preventive maintenance doesn't mean we rebuild the motor, but we have to go through certain things with the buses and check all the fluid levels, brakes, tires. There's like a checklist of things we have to do. So far this year, we haven't had too many breakdowns. I shouldn't say that, because I thought the other day it was the first one, and it happened at 3:30 at South Side. So that happens. State Department, of course, inspection, the state guy, Mr. Stone, he's here Monday again with us. He comes about 4, 5, 6 times a year. They check our buses twice a year. They have to put their state sticker on there, so it's pretty rigorous what they check for and what we can keep up with. Secretary Miss Bailey does a great job. As you can see, she's got 2 phones. Most of the time, that's a normal day. Her phone and 2 other phones to try to keep track of the trips and all the parent phone calls. Area chiefs this year have been great, and Leonard Gregory is on the Welch side, Miss Bailey's on the Riverview side. One of the big things we've done this year is a senior safety selection. And what that is, Miss Payton helped us too with the protocol with that, and I sent her some things and we kind of put it together. is we selected one senior. We asked the drivers, they are turning that name into me tomorrow. We ask each driver to select a senior or a junior that's near the end of their stop. We have a protocol list that we're going to train them in an emergency situation, how to stop that bus, not drive the bus. But if something would happen medically to that driver, and you've seen it on the news where drivers have had medical issues and a student had to get up and take the wheel. So we thought that's a great thing for our students to know, like how to set the brake, how to properly get on the radio and communicate the location, show them the emergency exit. So actually we're going to get that list compiled and bring all of them together. And so each driver's not telling them different things. We'll go through the protocol with all of them. And we thought that was a great thing to do with the students to help us. And a lot of students have been a lot of them really love it. They're like, hey, I like this. And we ask them to make it towards the end of the stop, because we don't want the first stop. We want the kid that gets off last. We're not trying to be, I'm not picking you versus this one, but we have to get somebody toward the end of the route. Coalfield Elementary. We had a couple changes this year, 3 or 4 times. We went back and forth on how we'll best. I think now we finally got it pretty ironed out. We still have a couple little glitches. The big thing was getting the schedules here. The radios, I did order. The Coalfield does have 4 radios, 3 portable radios that they have constant communication with me, and of course they have one here that goes through the 911 center. So we did make sure they can communicate with us. We have some traffic. As you noticed, Mr. Boomer, the sheriff, has been tremendous in the sheriff department in giving us that sign. The state DOH gave us some signs, and I have everything ready for them, but unfortunately, they were kind of outdated, so we had to order some things for them, so I'm trying to get some flashing signs, and I did go around the county to evaluate some areas we need some flashing signs. Southside has 15-mile-an-hour signs but no flashing lights. Bradshaw has 1 flashing light not working down next to the Bradshaw Elementary, and the one at Rearview, I think that one got tore down and somebody broke into the box and stole the guts out of it. The copper and everything, anything in it that they could sell. So we have to replace that one there, so we are in the process of looking at how we're going to put flashing signs. The ones at Welch and Fall River, a lot of them were pretty well old, outdated, and they had to be hooked to power. The ones we're on now is going to be all solar, and we can set a timer on them, so we are going to look at getting those installed. I do have the 2 pedestal things ready to be installed up here. It's just waiting on some parts. These that go up pretty fast up here. Driver's ed. We had the new driver's ed car on the right. We have that one. Mr. Fowler's actually picking that up tomorrow. We have that one ready to go. We had to take the brake system on the passenger side to mount it in that car for him. We also, in the driver's ed car, this is what we can see now. We installed cameras in the driver's ed car that will show us the driver and all occupants and a front-facing view. That way, if there's issues with something on the highway or traffic accident or something like that, we have footage to show where we was at or what our students were doing, or the instructor, what he may or may not been doing at the time of the accident. So we do have that installed in both cars now. Fuel Master, we spent quite a bit of money this year, around $15,000. That's our tracking system for the buses on fuel that gives us, they all have a code number that tells us exactly how many gallons of fuel each driver gets and when he gets it. It's kind of Walter helped me a lot with that this year. That was kind of a big task. The upgrade was because we was used to the old landline phone. Then we had to go over the internet or offload, and it was kind of a big process, but we had to do it because what happened towards the end of the year, the Fuel Master memory got full and we had to override it. Nobody could get fuel because it would no longer let you because the memory was full. But we did have that corrected, and that's working great. School bus safety was a big thing. We looked at a lot of things this year. If you notice those 2 buses, school bus lit up, school bus not lit up, kind of better noticeable. We have those on buses. We don't have them on all. We have the signs down there. We have them on probably 12 to 15 buses now. We didn't install them on the buses that I'm planning on retiring out in the next 2 years. because they was about $1,200 to put those lights on there, so we did not feel like it was worth putting that much money in those buses. They're legal buses and safe buses, it's just that we didn't want to put that on those buses and then retire those buses. All right, well, what's the problem here, bud? All right, there you go, we got it. We also bought some, if you notice these buses here now, we bought the extended stop arms that light up, and mainly I put those on Route 52. Last year we had a predominantly all of our cars in public traffic passing us while we were stopping. I'll show you some videos here in a minute. So I did try to buy those for about 6 buses now. We are going to try and equip all the buses that just gives a little bit more brightness to what, because even before we had the strobe light and we thought, well, they could see a strobe light, but now every trash truck and every service truck has a strobe light. So we had to find something that would stand out to make people say, hey, that's a bus. I mean, if they can. So we brought those and put those on the buses on Route 52. Of course, the FMCA, we still fall under guidelines with them. We have to run a query on all the drivers every year, just a background check to check that they haven't had no downgrade on their license and things. And the FMC did come by last year, and I think it's every 2 years they will come in and check our records to make sure we're conducting those queries on all those drivers to make sure they have no downgrades on their license. So we do take care of that down there. And that's just, I think this was last year, because I'm due up. I try to do it sometime the same month every time. That's kind of how it does. It's not prohibited. So we have to do that on everybody that drives it that says a CDL license. So we run that every year. Budget, like I said, the new radios are pretty expensive. Spend around 32, well, quite almost 33,000 for 3 portables and 1 desktop at Bradshaw. Fuelmaster, around 15,000. Last year, RT Rogers, we spent around 213,000 for diesel and 15 for gas. New buses. Last year I paid 294. Ordered them about a month ago, 313 for 2. That's how much the buses have gone up. And that's not a basic, I mean, it's not like a elite bus. We got bare bones, everything that's needed by the state and the camera system. We didn't get nothing too elaborate with them. So budget has it, and we talked about that with the state inspector about the formula with the state. They're going to have to increase that somehow because of the rising cost. It still was based on 15, 20 years ago or more, how much you get back. So that's going to have to be a change in that. This is what we see when I was telling you earlier. This is on our front-facing cameras on our buses. As you can see, both these buses were on the route that day. We had stopped to pick up kids as soon as the lights were off. This is what happens to us sometimes. Traffic takes office around us. They did. I think the Sheriff's Department did catch this person that we had last year that was down Yeager area, because it happened to us 4 or 5 times. And we never could catch her. And I talked to the Sheriff's Department, and they kind of set up, and we finally got her. It happens in the evening too, in the mornings, early morning hours. Same thing, same vehicle. Of course, here you can't see it, but the camera will. We can pause it and stop, and we can catch plate numbers. And we can report those to the Sheriff's Department. There's another one happened at 6:40 in the morning. I think that was coming into Norfolk on another bus. Bus passing us coming down the hill. We made a stop right there at the coffee shop. As soon as we cut the lights off, the car takes office around us. And I've asked the drivers, and all of them usually do a pretty good job about it. Once they get 4, 5, 8 cars behind them, they need to find a wide spot and try to disperse traffic, because people get anxious and start passing us. That's when it becomes dangerous. This is just, you may have seen this. This is a short video just showing that actually that's what we can see on the front-facing camera is traffic. Pretty good camera systems, and we have them on all the buses. All the buses have the same system. That's the rear facing of the bus. I can see in the back. I can't see everyone because I have 6 cameras on each bus. It's just a back camera. Each camera has a microphone, so usually we can hear the conversation if it's not too loud. This is a sidearm camera. If you notice there, if you see cars going by, we can pause that and get license plate numbers. If they pass while the stop lights are out, we can catch that and notify the sheriff's department on those. This year on August the 8th, we had a new policy with transportation and the changes in routes, and the policy just was updated to make a few changes on routes. I know a lot of you may have got issues about routes this year. Some of the routes we had to make changes. It was just too dangerous for us to take some vehicles in some of these places, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. There's some of the areas that we have to decide that we put a bus on or not. I mean, I know it puts a burden on the parents, but sometimes we have to pull out of some of these areas. It's just, I think the one on the right may have been up on Atwell Mountain. Well, if you take a dual bus, his outside wheels are over here. I just can't put them up in certain areas. It's just too dangerous for us. I know in the public will call, and they will call the board and say, well, the trash truck, the TV truck, and other people, UPS comes up here. That's fine, but we're not going, I can't bring a bus up there. And I think the one on the left may have been up on Coon Branch that had to get fixed. A lot of times we went up Barrytown and stopped at the top and had parents bring us off. It's just some of the areas are just too rough for us to get into. Driver training, Mr. Mullins is still our trainer. He's done good. The trouble is now, I've had Billy, William, 2 this year that came off of training within 2 days they were on the route on their own. Because when they get trained, when they finish the training, they have to complete 1 route with a regular driver before I can let them go on their own. So I think Billy trained or tested on Wednesday, passed, drove Thursday with a regular driver, I turned him loose Friday on a regular route. So sometimes it's like straight out of, he's going straight in, he never actually got the sub on no buzzes, he went straight on a long-term route. So sometimes that's what happens with our subs. It doesn't take them long to get on, it's just finding them. The timeline to complete, Mr. Mullins tries to work with them. It's not a traditional class 8 to 4 because some of these people that come to us have part-time jobs. So they have to work, so he tries to work on their schedule. So we may work with 2 people during the day, 2 in the evening. So sometimes it's all different on how long it takes them to get done depending on their jobs. But we have to do that to try to keep the people in the training. This year at the in-service, if you notice, on the far left over there, we had a wheelchair securement training. Miss Stone from I think she's in Lincoln County now. She's like nationally certified in special needs. We get her every year to do the early childhood training for us. She actually done that for us. At the next picture, if you notice, we had some 80-pound dummies. They put 4 dummies on the bus. We fogged the bus up to where you can't see in it. And drivers have to get on the bus, and we try to time it to see how long they can find those people in total blindness. They have to kind of feel under seats in case you would have a fire. They would have to get on there and find people. We hope that never happens, but we did have a training on that. Of course, here she's showing how the wheelchairs are secured in the back of the bus. We had the drivers go through all that training. Miss East helped us a lot with CPI. We had all the drivers at Mount View for 1 day. You can see them here. We was training them on the techniques if you have to restrain or a kid in an altercation. That's it. Y'all got any questions? Go ahead.
Mr. Griggle, thank you first of all for the presentation. A couple of questions. The bottom of Mountain View in the morning is insanity. With the coal trucks going up and down and the buses going up and down. Parents
Come out of traffic.
God
Right.
knows how many students. I mean, I'm there every morning with, picking up the little one there. And I just cringe sometimes, especially the student drivers. If the road's wet, like last couple of mornings, they love to spin their tires. And I just wonder if there's any ways we could have law enforcement down there. I don't know what you guys have available.
I don't know if the sheriff has the manpower to have anybody available. I know they're shorthanded about like everybody else, but I don't know if y'all have the manpower to have anybody down there or not. Because I know what he's talking. I mean, sometimes you'll spend 10 minutes trying to get out at the bottom because of traffic.
Exactly.
And there's so many cars backed up, I realize that.
The city police.
I
State
think it's almost
troopers
to the
too.
point they need to stop right there.
Yeah, because we have
there's not many student drivers over here, and we've counted, because we
Yeah.
changed the bus routes and who we're letting out first, and I think we had like 16 drivers at Mount View.
The
But
parent
a
pickup,
lot of the
parent
parent
pickup at Coalfield is our biggest
Yeah,
Yeah.
traffic issue now.
In that traffic.
yeah.
Right. That's been a challenge for us to get all those parents in and around that
I
loop.
continue
and
to
back.
hope to think that number will keep going down and down and down.
I think as the weather gets bad, parents are gonna say, well, I don't know about taking you now, you're gonna ride the bus.
So you mentioned the flashing lights, and we have nothing down at the bottom of the hill except that one, maybe
Down there by the-
200 yards and it blinks
Yeah,
once a month.
yeah. I don't, and I talked with Randall Pack with DOH, we talked about, and I think we can put a crosswalk, me and Miss Payton and Miss Barker have talked about that. There's just some legalities to order to put a crosswalk here for them. At Mount View, I really don't know that far away, can they put any kind of signs down there to slow people down? I'd be requesting for Mr. Pack at the DOH because of the distance down there versus before you get to the school.
Yeah, well, it's just scary down there, I mean, at times. And when these kids, and if the parent's late to try to get to work to drop the kid off at Coalfield or whatever, it's insanity. It's the only word I can use. It's just crazy.
And I'll check with Mr. Harmon at the city and maybe Mr. McBride with the mayor there and see if they can help us out maybe in the mornings with some traffic control. At least, you really would need about 20 minutes tops, 30. Then you good during the day, and then maybe back around 3:10, 3:15 would help too to alleviate some of that traffic going up and down. But now I don't know how much manpower they have to be able to do that, but I can try to.
Your pictures of the falling in roads, I know we have it like going down toward War, for example.
Yeah.
Has that been, they done anything?
No, I think and if you notice even our main routes on 52, 80, or 16, majority of the time, I know DOH is, when I talk to them out there, I think a lot of them are federally awarded contracts, so they have to wait till the contract comes out before the contractors bid on it. So there's probably a dozen roads or more that we're alternating traffic now on the main highways. Well, you take 52 down Premier, you know that, you got one at Gary, you're in the other lane, you got stops. Havico, I think, got fixed here about a week or so ago. They had one up there, had a fall in. So I know when I talked to DOH, they said, Adam, we can't really tell you a whole lot because all that's contracted out.
And one last question, and I'll hush here. You mentioned the bare bones bus purchases. When I was in the legislature, there was a bill that was requiring air conditioning on.
Yeah, we do have air conditioners on the buses.
Is that a bill that passed?
Yeah, that after, I don't remember, a few years ago that any bus you order from this point on had to have an air conditioner. They recommended an air conditioner on it. And the way our summers have and the way the weather pattern is, it seems like now we really do need them because of the heat and humidity. And I've tried to take, even in the summer months or towards the end of school, any trips that go out that has a pretty good distance in it, we'll make sure those students take an air conditioning bus.
Okay, so we do have.
Yeah, we do. Everything I've ordered the last 4 years has air conditioning.
Okay, I'll hush. Thank you, sir.
Adam, can you talk for a moment about the bus notes and the reason behind so that our.
Yeah, we did put out a thing here about 2 or 3 days on the county page about bus notes, and we wasn't putting that out to try to make parents, but we had to because I think Rachel over here signed, we're 4 weeks into school and she had like 20-some notes that parents send up and want a kid to ride another bus. There's a lot of, it's not that we don't mind, and we'll do that if it's a normal bus stop every day, but we've had parents wanting to go home on kids, hey, can they ride with these kids on Friday night? They want to go to Mountain View. Can they go home with these kids? The trouble is, there's a lot of unknowns there. First of all, if I have a driver that's a third grader under, he doesn't know that whose parent's who when he gets to the stop. So if he lets the third grader under out, he assumes, hey, there's 5 adults there. I guess one of them is that little girl's mommy, and she's not there, then why did y'all let her out without a parent? So it's kind of like we had to do something to curtail the notes of the kids going home every day. And a lot of times the capacity. If you know, Riverview area for years, we brought everybody on one bus. This year here, we just started that this year. So most of my buses, majority of them are sitting at 60, 65 people on a 77 passenger bus. So there's not a lot of room margin. I mean, and most of the time, if people say, well, I looked on that bus the other day, there was room. Well, every kid don't attend every day. But if they're on that roster, we have to make sure we have room for that student. So sometimes we don't have much room, and we want the pre-K up front, and that's been a little bit challenged with Coalfield up here, which getting the drivers acclimated to make sure those little ones stay towards the front. Of course, you have parents saying, well, hey, I want my little one set with her 10th grade brother. Can't do it. 10th grade brother can come up, but little one's not going back. You know, and that's what we tell the parents, hey, if they can come up and set, but that last pre-K has to be in that last seat with brother. It can't be up front and take up another seat for a pre-K. So sometimes parents kind of complain about that, but the notes were just, sometimes it's capacity issues and sometimes it's safety issue. We
Also
just don't.
on that, it was, if I'm this driver and Ed comes to ride my bus, I don't have any emergency contact information for you.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're allergic to. I don't know your emergency phone numbers. If we were to wreck, or someone wasn't there, or there was anything happened. So we just went down through the list, and we've told the families it's not if we're shared custody. If I'm going to go and ride a bus, to my dad's on Friday evenings, and the rest of the week I'm riding to mom's, that's okay. That's a regular pattern.
Right.
But it's this, I want to go spend the night with Tanya, and tomorrow I want to go spend the night with Renee, and I'm going to go here and there. If mom calls and she's in Bluefield and her car's broke down and she needs Ed to ride this bus, that's okay. But it's just this, I think Rachel had 32 that last day. And then
Well-
if Mount View has 32 and he's only got 10 seats available, then they would have to communicate to make sure we weren't filling up that bus. So it's just a lot.
and a lot of times, especially at the high schools, when you have like homecoming and major events, a lot of girls, I want to go home with so-and-so, I got to get my nails done, my hair. A lot of times I just don't have accommodations to allow that. And I'm not trying to put the burden on the parent, but we tell the parent, you can go there and take the kid back to her house, but I can't put her on the bus
Yeah.
with them. So sometimes, you catch a lot of riff-raff about that, but sometimes we just have to do what we have to do.
Adam, the other thing I thought we could, I know you had mentioned when you put the pictures of the areas, and Dr. Barker and I went and rode with Adam. It was
Yeah.
a very scary day.
They won't ride with me no more.
Just not being in control and letting Adam drive was the scary part. But we did meet with Mr. Randall, and he came in and we talked with him about some of those areas. So we did ask for help, and we have that on record. There's some of those areas, like he said, that he couldn't give us a timeline on. And we said, well, we're a commercial vehicle, we're carrying children and cargo, we're not carrying packages and those kinds of things. So we did meet with him, and so Adam called an official meeting, and so we've talked to him about each route, and if we had to make any changes, he gave us, to say, I can't tell you you can't go in there, but I can't tell you that I can fix it either. And you also had some stops where we were having to turn and.
Well, like, for instance, and I'll just use Shabby Run, for instance. I don't mind Shabby Run, but sometimes Shabby Run only has one turnaround at the end of the road. Well, if the neighbors or families up there parked in it, then I got a 40-foot bus and I'm trying to turn around in a regular car parking spot, that I'm having to seesaw around, not hit tail swing, hit their car, hit a tree, and we've had some damages. But sometimes the driver's been at a challenge. He said, I can't back out with kids on the bus all the way out, so I have to try to do that. So sometimes we just had to do it because there's not adequate space for us to maneuver the bus. And then that new policy, and there wasn't nothing new on that section, but they did say in that policy you got to have enough sight distance and adequate, because a lot of parents say, well, you can turn around here on my land. It even says in policy recommended you don't get on private property, because then you get into liability issues like, well, you rutting out my driveway, I want gravel.
And
You
you've
gonna
had to
pave
do
that again
before.
for me?
You've had to do that before.
Oh yeah, I've had to do that and tell the parents, hey, I understand that we could turn up here, but it's still private property. They said, well, I'll buy that property and I'll allow you to turn, but it's still your property. I said, we just can't do it because it puts us on too much liability there.
Anything else for Adam?
Sometimes some of the roads, I wouldn't drive up Coon Branch on a sunny day.
Well,
I'm sorry.
and there's times like that one, the photos, there's times that we call, and Coon Branch does have a big, large population, and thankfully Robert Short's been on that run for about 20 years. I think he could go through there blindfolded. But he knows the parents' community, and a lot of times when them roads get like that, we'll go to Beartown and tell the parents, You meet a stop at Beartown, we'll bring you back down. You meet us there in the evening, we're not coming up the other, you know what I mean, the other side, because it's just too dangerous for us. And that's not just there, there's a lot of areas like that.
That's where we were when I said I'm getting out of the Jeep.
That's when you said, let me out and pick me up, I'll meet you on Fifth
We
Street.
we were facing a FedEx truck coming. I was like, I'll just get out.
And thank you all.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Can we do the
Margaret,
attendance
would you
now?
open the door
I
for
think
them?
they're locked out.
They're locked up.
I don't think it's open.
Oh, he says it's open.
I was thinking,
Aaron wants to, if it's okay to switch and do number 3, do the recognition first of
Okay.
the students.
Absolutely. I appreciate you.
yeah, I was wondering if they could get in. I was like, looking at the clock.
We'll have them get one.
It's like, much as I love Cub Scouts, I'm sorry.
Yeah, come on in. Yay, I was worried nobody was gonna show up. I think we're gonna sit back.
I figured they were all stuck out there because I didn't think that nobody was going, because that door was open. I mean, was closed. I mean,
I'll let you talk about it. See, and we didn't think anybody was gonna
that's
show
a
up.
lot of kids. I was thinking, why did you put out all those shit?
Going to be. Hey. Hey, QB. You gonna be shy today? Come on in. Welcome. Yeah. We want to have like a party.
There's still a few chairs up front.
Yeah, come on up. Come on, Lens will come. Go sit with Tanya. Hi.
It's pretty awesome.
Yes. Well, I think it's the best board meeting ever.
Yeah.
So he's going to do the attendance.
Good evening. My name's Aaron Lester. I'm the Director of Student Services.
Here you are. He's gonna turn you up.
Check. Better. Okay. I said, good evening. My name is Aaron Lester. I'm the Director of Student Services for McDowell County Schools. And part of that job is the attendance director, which is a tough job. So first of all, thank you all for coming to share this evening with us. As you know, you received an invitation for your child to receive a certificate for having perfect attendance last school year. Somebody asked me if very many people would show up, and I said, well, sure, they had perfect attendance. They're not going to miss an event. So thank you all for a large crowd. My opinion, this is one of the toughest acknowledgments to receive is perfect attendance for an entire school year. We have 2,200 kids roughly, and as you can see, we have 34, I think, families represented today here with perfect attendance. So thank you all to the students, but also to the families that ensure your child gets to school every day and that you value education and their attendance. So thank you all. So we will start with our students. Ms. Payton is going to help me. We will announce the child's name, and they'll come up and receive their certificate, and we'll get some photos as well. First, we have Colton Odell.
We can get the board members to go up front. One second, we'll get the board members to come up
Jiggle,
front.
get them up here for us.
Come on up, board members, and we'll get you up here to take a picture.
If the parents and family members will join them for the photos, so we can recognize you all as well.
That's a big award. Not many kiddos get that. Let's see right here, come throw it at. Scoot on in here. Go on in here. Take a break. Nate, can you get all of that? Do we need to like scrunch down? I got it. Congratulations, Colton. Congratulations, Paul. Here, we should have Aaron make the parents award too.
We should have him. Cashton Blair.
Ashton Blair. Ashton here?
Lenny Salyers.
Congratulations. Thank you for coming to school every day. You want to come in there and just drop it in? Angie, come on over. Thank you. Great job. Colton is at Coalfield Elementary and Lenny is at Yeager Elementary.
Chase Blair.
Chase Blair,
Braxton Wolford. Brianna Blankenship. Farron Hunt.
Coalfield Elementary School.
Nabila Hairston.
Congratulations again. I got to walk. And she's at Coalfield Elementary School.
John Church.
And John is also at Coalfield Elementary School.
Jamila Hagerty.
Did we get her name right? Got it right. And she is now
Journey Pageant. Bryce Podmajersky.
but you did good.
And I even clarified that name so I wouldn't mess it up. Emma Hendrick.
Whole fam. Emma's at Coalfield Elementary.
Shaylin Cleary. Well, who is it? Jace Cleary. Jace Cleary. Yeah, we can find that. It's.
Or do you want your own picture? You want your own?
We also have Jace Cleary. Yeah.
Yes, here you go, sir. Handshake. Thank you, sir. So let me go to that pretty face. All right, come on. All right, you ready? Give the man the strong head. She won't bite you, I promise. Oh, Shaylin, hold it down. Thank you.
Josiah Hairston. Anaya Staples.
Come on, take a picture with her. You work just as hard. Right, ready? Thank you. She's also a
Brendan Belfour.
This one too. There, get you there, okay. Thank you. Schofield Elementary. I'm moving him on up. Go tall.
Addison Tenney.
Congratulations, Mom. Thank you. Oh,
Kalia Brown.
congratulations. I'll thank you too. Thank you, congratulations. Thank you.
Zoe Fowler.
Mount View.
Kyson White. Scarlett Riggs. Colson Roberts. Alora Cooper. Howard Sanders Jr. Brayley Kirk.
And she's at Sandy River Middle School.
Alyssa Rowe. Misty Payne. Avery Muncie. Chloe Keys. Antonia Pageant. Eli Keys. Catherine Mulgrew. Matthew Evans.
We want to make sure everyone that received the invitation got a certificate, that we didn't leave anyone out, there wasn't an error. Everybody okay? Okay. Let me just check that.
Okay.
I'll give you her name. Let's go ahead and come on up. Okay. All right, it might have been a clerical issue. So come on up, we'll take your picture, Mr. Lester will make sure to get you a certificate, and we'll get it over to Mom tomorrow, okay? That's right, we're Senator Logan, we'll get it to her Monday. Congratulations.
What's her name?
Mountain View High School, 6A.
What's her name?
Miss Odell, what's your first name? Arabella.
Arabella Odell.
She's at Mountain View this year. All right. Board members, anybody want to say anything? Give you all opportunity. Congratulations. We can't. When board members have asked for the student recipients, if they can come up and we'll get a picture. So if you received a certificate, if you can leave your certificate with your family and come on up and take a group picture. Ellie with her umbrella. Come on up. Get in there and just give them lots of love. Get right here, let Emma get in front of you. It's you right here.
Even if she's not.
Get you right here. There we go. Come here, Miss Cleary. And you stand right here. And come here, Lenny. Come here, Lenny. Get you right here, Lenny. Okay, let's go right here. Let's have you, let's have right here, sign the check. You good? All right. Oh, you know what? All right, that's a good Kodak moment. Get out of the way, Teresa. We need Ellie, we need Eli and Kat just to bend down for a minute. Not many people can do that, Eli. You're like, up here. Smile, smile, be proud of that. Great job. Stay until they all say they're done. Hold on. Very good. Last one. Everybody look at me. Or look at him. Last one. You know he's going on social media tonight. And Donnie's got perfect attendance over there. He probably really does. We good? All right, let's give one more round of applause to him. All right, let me get out of the way for you. Thank you all so much. You have permission. Families, if you don't want to stay for the rest of the meeting, you're more than welcome to learn all the amazing things about child nutrition, or you can leave. Thank you all. No worries. I keep her for dinner. They got water. Are you thirsty? Come on, let's say they were using. We gotta go get that home. He's over. Hey, Kat,
And Mr. Lester is going to do the child nutrition updates.
Okay. Thank you all for allowing me a few minutes to share the highlights of last year and some things that we plan to move forward with this year. Our school nutrition programs directly support the health and learning of students across the district. In 24-25 last school year, we've seen incredible growth in participation resources and community support. This is our reimbursements we have made throughout our other programs. Our lunch and breakfast program, we were reimbursed 1.7, almost $1.8 million for meals that we serve to our students. Our fresh fruits and vegetable program, that is a grant that we received from the State Department to introduce our elementary schools to different types of fruit and vegetables, and that's a snack that they get 2 times a week. On Tuesdays and Thursdays at most places, but some maybe Mondays and Wednesdays, students receive fresh fruits and vegetables. And there's some teaching moments with it. Bradshaw Elementary does a great job getting exotic fruits and things that we can get during the seasonal time, just so we can introduce some kids to different fruits and vegetables. I know Southside told me yesterday, I went there and we'll talk about that, but they want more blueberries. They love blueberries. Mr. Eastep said the custodians hate them, but the kids love them. So I guess he can fight that battle. Our summer feeding program, we reimbursed last year and this year $661,000, which is an enormous amount. And I will tell you, a lot of that was due to our food boxes that we mailed out this summer, and we're going to talk more about that program as well. And then during the flood, we contacted the state, and they allowed us to get reimbursed for the meals that we served during the flood. And during that time, February and March, we received $65,000 in reimbursements for that food. Katie does an excellent job at sending out lunch bills. A lot of our staff, they enjoy lunches. It's cheaper than what you can go and buy a combo at any of the restaurants. So additional revenue last year, we took in $38,551 just on adult lunches throughout the county. These are the number of meals served. Last year we served 226,164 breakfast meals, 253,197 lunch, and during the summer we served 77,856 meals. That was breakfast and lunch. That was the food boxes, and also during our summer school. We had over 1,100 students sign up for the 10-day meal boxes. So they received a 10-day meal box every 10 days from late June until the 1st of September. That includes Saturdays, Sundays, so that's why our reimbursement was even higher, because we could claim weekend meals for the summertime when we sent the summer food boxes home. That was a big hit. A lot of families really, when I saw them in the community, they thanked me. They enjoyed it. Was it perfect? No. UPS was a little overwhelmed, and they were like, "Can you please tell me when it's coming next time?" So my brother-in-law works for UPS, so I gave him a heads up. I'm like, it's time. It's coming again. You better share it with whoever. But that was a very successful program, and it was a lot on Katie's part. She done a lot of that as far as the clerical work, making sure that the food boxes went to the families. Of course, a big part of that was having correct addresses in the system. The families, they had an online Microsoft Forms that they filled out. It didn't take long for word of mouth to get out that somebody got their food boxes. They're like, "We didn't get ours," and I'm like, "It's coming in waves." So overall, very successful. The company we worked with, Umoja, won the bid. They're out of Utah, which I was kindly hesitant about, being so far away, but he had done surveys with our families, and he gave away 4 $50 Amazon gift cards at a random drawing. He wanted their feedback. He wanted to learn what our kids liked in the food boxes in case they win the bid next year. And actually, we can roll it over for up to 3 years, but if we go with then he'll adjust to what their kids enjoyed and take away what they didn't care for as much. Some new equipment that we have. I applied for an equipment grant with the Department of Ed. The max you can get is $20,000. A combi oven runs about $22,000. So we use just some local child nutrition funds, a couple $1,000s to finish paying for that. So Riverview got a new combi oven. The elementary schools, again, with Fresh Fruits and Vegetables program, you can use 10% of that for administrative fees, which could be if you pay overtime for somebody to do your program, or if you want to buy equipment. So we have in the process of purchasing all of our elementaries a cart that makes the fruit and vegetables even more appealing when they take that down to the classroom. I was at Southside yesterday, and we're looking at buying a cold bar for their fresh fruits and vegetables and their yogurt and things that they can put out in the cafeteria there. We're working on a lot of little things just to entice our students, even the ones who are not eating. Our participation has increased, but we're trying to get those as well, the other students. This is what I'm most excited about. Last year, well, actually in April, went to School Nutrition Association, and I've been trying to have this company call me back, and it actually called me back on Tuesday. And we have a meeting set up for Monday at 1:30. It is called Smart Mouth Pizza. It is a personal pan pizza that they make. You get this display. It's just like they go into the grocery store and they get a box of Hunt Brothers pizza, and all these are made their personal pan. Now there's cost associated with it, so we'll have that meeting to see, if the cost is going to outweigh us or not, to see if that's going to be doable for our kids. We want to pilot that at both of our high schools starting out, and then if we can manage that and move forward. You have to have space for equipment. You get pizza ovens, and depending on your enrollment, whether you get one or two. But I think they can, if I recall, it's like less than 90 seconds they'll shoot a pizza through there and bake it. So once we get that rolling, we'll have to have you all for lunch one time here and try this Smart Mouth Pizza up. And of course, our goal is looking ahead. We're committed to building innovative meal programs that keep students excited about their choices while continuing to upgrade equipment and facilities across their schools. Strengthening partnership with vendors and the community will remain a priority, as well as promoting nutrition education, engaging students in menu feedback and taste testing. We also aim to improve efficiency through better systems and staff training while focusing on sustainability by reducing waste. By supporting our cafeteria teams and celebrating their hard work, we ensure lasting success. Together, we're not just feeding students, we're fueling their future. And that's been a big part of it, is making sure that the cafeteria staff know that they're important for a student's success as well, not just their teachers and things, but this is our staffs at each of our schools that take care of our kids and make sure that they're fed meals every day. So that's all I have. Any questions?
I saw in the, social media where Five Loaves and Fishes down here got a grant for weekend meals for our students. Are we officially partnered with Lyndon Bob? They're just angels, I think, in this county. And do we have other schools that will be maybe benefiting from something similar?
Also, and I didn't put that on there, and it actually just slipped my mind, but we do have a backpack grant. That was hard to say, but that we send snack boxes home with our kids. So the community and schools facilitators and the administration identify 10% of the students that are in need, and we send those meal boxes home with them. The first shipment was ordered, but also we don't let anybody go hungry. So if it's beyond 10%, we will make sure that those kids that need it, they get those meal boxes as well. Some of the schools have made their own relationships with organizations, and they may supplement those the snack boxes that we send home, but not all of them do that. But some schools do have other relationships that they've made.
For years, we made bags, and I had that on my notes to thank Aaron for the meal boxes. And some people might look at those like they have Slim Jims and Pringles and those kinds of things, but we bagged every Thursday for 4 hours or so to try to just get Walmart. We started with Walmart, and then when they closed, we went to Goodson's. And this is, we're just a little small but mighty central office staff. So now he's went to the pre-packaged boxes from Amazon, but the families I know, I get messages all the time, thanking us for those. Sometimes towards the end of the month, that's all that they have to make it last through. So thank you for getting that up and going again. Appreciate it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item, G, is personnel. Had time to look at the personnel agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
So since my name's on here as approving a volunteer agenda, do I vote?
All you have to do is abstain.
Second.
Okay,
motion.
we had a motion to approve
I
by
make a motion and a
Angie,
second.
second by Larkin. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Horizon, I'll abstain. Well, no, not on that one, I won't. I'll vote aye. They're right together, so when I'm looking at one of them, it looked like the volunteer agenda is up there, but it's not. The next item is the volunteer agenda, if we'd have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve it.
Ed, second by Margaret. Do you have any questions, concerns about that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I'll abstain on that one. The next item H is finances, allowing authorization payment of bills, budget revisions, invoices presented for payment are available in the finance office during the normal business hours. Do you have a motion to approve? Larkin?
I'll second.
Okay, any questions, from Ms. Collin or anybody have a question? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Approval of McDowell County Board of Education monthly finance report for the month of August. Reports are unaudited.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Angie. Second by Margaret. Do you have any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Next is approval to authorize school fundraiser events. And of course, we'll do all those. We have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve all of them together.
Motion by Angie, second by Larkin. Do you have any questions or comments on those?
On the Sandy River Hershey ice cream sales, are we meeting nutritional guidelines there?
Yes, and that's, you've approved every school, so they make each school do that. Aaron does that through the school lunch program, but he still has to run it as a fundraiser. I think this is the last, probably one of the last schools that we have. I think we have them all now.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. On the action item L, there's the action item. I'm assuming, okay. There's 2 or 3 on the back page, so it's harder to figure those if you don't have them on the same page. Action items are I, and we have 1 through 7. So we have a motion to take those together. Motion by Angie that
No, I
we,
don't think we do those all together. Those are purchases.
Yeah, you've got purchases through, on the first 2,
Okay.
and you've got policies.
on the next one, I'm sorry. Okay, number 1 is approval to purchase smart boards for Title I schools, zones for $282,331.82. We have a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Larkin, second by Ed. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Number 2 is approval to purchase cloud cameras for use within our district, Cloud-12, for $113,958. Margaret made a motion,
Second.
second by Angie. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all
A
in
little bit of information about that, whoever.
Yeah,
provides
that's
it.
me. So cloud cameras are, our cameras, not the cameras that you're used to in like a special education classroom. These are cameras that are in general education classrooms. They can put in, not in our mod classroom, they can be in another special education classroom that has different services for children day in and day out. What these cameras are for, they're called cat-eye cameras. They're in the center of the classroom. Lots of benefits of these, but the most important part for the board, and I think we've talked about it before, is the only person that can turn them on is the classroom teacher. So I can't come in and turn them on my phone or any other way. The teacher's the only one that has the access to do that. Now, principal can come in to do a walkthrough, and if Miss West is doing she's in front of the class, we can kind of have a signal. I can ask her to record that lesson so that then we can come back and we can do real-time feedback and go through the video, just like coaching, like we've talked about before. But the important part to this is, in our district, and it might be different in other districts, but in our district, the classroom teacher is the only one with the password to the account to the camera. So this is just to add to the additional Title I school classrooms that do not have them. I've been trying to do that as we have money. Right now, it's cleanup money time. So this is some funds that, if we don't spend, the liquidation time is coming up, and so we're looking ahead. So Mr. Newcomb and I have been working together on what classrooms do not have that in Title I schools, and this will cover Yeager, Coalfield, Bradshaw, and Southside. In the elementary classrooms, they'll all have one after this purchase. This is just our last round. You have any other questions?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
I do want to mention one more thing, just so you all know what it is. If we are ever in a situation like COVID again, the good thing is also these cameras the teacher could teach and utilize their whole classroom because the camera follows them. So if we're doing a science experiment over here, I could go, the camera's going to follow where I go to. So kids have really great quality. Also, we've already used them for kids who've been in the hospital and been out for long periods of time, and the teacher can share that live link with them and they can watch the instruction instead of being marked absent. They can just continue on with their lessons and their attendance. So that's just another feature. Hopefully we'll never have to use it for something like COVID, but it will be there if we had to.
Good idea. The next one's approval to place policy 12-002, school attendance areas, up for revision. Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Do you have any questions?
So, are we changing areas?
No, the policy, I helped Mr. Griggle to do this. We had to make the changes for Coalfield. So we still had Fall River, Welch, Kimball listed on those attendance zones. So that had to be striked and had to add Coalfield Elementary.
So
So
it's
that,
just a cleanup on the
yeah,
policy.
it's just to clean up on the schools. And then stops when he goes into an area, goes out of an area, he has to update those.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Number 4 is approval to place revised policy 2-001, professional staff development policy and professional staff development council up for final approval. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Larkin, second by Margaret. Do you have any questions? Comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Number 5 is approval to place revised policy 6-007, use of cell phones and other personal electronic devices in schools and by school bus operator, up for final approval. Motion by Margaret,
Second.
second by Larkin. Any comments or questions?
So we have the state policy on cell phones, and we've made our county policies, and I just kind of wondered how that's going. I mean, are the kids?
So for the student policy, we've met with the principals last week, and they have told us that students have absolutely been respectful, just a handful here and there. We've had more issues with families being upset that children can't be ready and, available at all times and that they're focused on learning. But the students themselves, we've not really had any, I've not fielded a call, nor has Dr. Barker, other than families being upset that they can't text their child through the day and they can't call them through the day. So teachers are really trying to also be present and not be on their phones. Principals, we've talked about not to be on their phones in the hallway. We want to model our expectation. Central office staff, we have a thing, be present where your feet are. So if we're out monitoring and walking through, we're not going to be on our phones either, just to try to spread that message. But so far, we've not really had any trouble from elementary to high school.
Okay, I know I've had a conversation with the superintendent, and of course you guys aren't privy to that, but where I had, a phone call from parents and a student actually, and the student said they used them in the classrooms and were just allowed to. And I spoke with her about that. I think she's addressed that with the particular principal.
Yeah, because every child has a Chrome device, so, we've actually had some teachers who've asked about using cell phones for instruction, but the policy clearly says that they cannot use those, and we broke that down by grade level, but there's not a grade band that they can. So they do have those Chrome devices, and Mr. Newcomb has backups in case anybody's, breaks for any reason, so we've got enough cover for everybody to have a device, one-to-one.
Thank you.
So instead of playing games,
Right.
they actually have to teach, and students actually have to listen. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Approval to place repealed policy 11-049, advanced placement into kindergarten, up for final approval.
So moved.
Motion by Margaret,
I'll second.
second by Angie. Do you have any questions or comments on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The next approval is student trip request from 7 through 12.
I'll make a motion to take 7 through 12 altogether and approve.
Okay, motion by Angie to take 7 through 12 and to approve those. Second by Margaret. These are actually approval of student trip requests. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Just want to know that all of them have the proper number of chaperones, given a recent problem with them.
Yes.
We usually have that as a standard that they, once
Yeah, before
Once
it's
they
approved.
approve it, they've already checked it. That's normally what they do. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Next is the superintendent update.
So I have just a few updates for you. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to Tanya and Renee. They're here with us this evening. They worked really hard to get fingerprints done for hundreds of people. There's a new set of rules in pre-K that anyone who could possibly supervise or be alone with a pre-K student has to go through an extensive background check. And we have to continuously rotate that, and it will be a continual piece. So they have worked to schedule 2 large screening events, one at Bradshaw Elementary, one at Coalfield, and Renee took the lead on that and was there and physically rounding people up. And so I just want to thank you all both for doing that and getting us legal. We have a pre-K monitoring coming up, so and it's just going to have to be something we continue to do throughout the district just to keep our little ones safe. Coalfield Elementary's dedication ceremony is Monday. I had sent you all an email and flyers, and so hopefully, I know I've heard back from some of you all that you could or couldn't come. So just, we'll start at 9 o'clock. We have a very sentimental but low-key kind of dedication. The students are in the building, and we didn't want to disrupt the learning process. So we've made it at 9 o'clock after breakfast, before lunch, so that we could fit in the building and not be that disruptive. So hopefully you all can join us for that. We completed the iReady benchmark assessments today, so soon you'll have me going over that data. Not had a chance to look at it yet after the window closed today at 4 o'clock, but we'll start mining that data and get that together. And that's our beginning of the year data that will drive our intervention plans for the House Bill 3035, or that Third Grade Success Act. But we did complete that data K through 8. So even our middle schools will use that data for plans for students. Dr. Barker is starting the 9th through 11th grade benchmark assessment. That's new this year. 9th through 11th grade have not had a benchmark. So they are in the process of getting started. Theirs was just a little behind our window, so they're getting ready for that piece. I mentioned pre-K monitoring, or special education monitoring just completed. Pre-K monitoring is getting ready to get started, but Dr. East and her team just had the State Department here for several days. They did school visits, they pulled files, met with her, interviews, students and staff, at the schools, and she's awaiting that final report. So once we get that report, she will share that with you. If we have any corrective action, we'll create a plan and correct those. We did have some accommodations, things that they saw that they were really pleased with, and teachers, and so she has reached out and gave shout outs to those individuals. Today we had a team at the West Virginia Department of Ed elementary literacy training. Yesterday we had a team at the math training. Those are in Lewisburg. So our teachers and administrators will come back and we will meet with our respective teams. Summer and Christy and I lead those teams. And then we will take what they've learned and push that out to the remaining teachers in the district in the elementary setting. So we're excited. I didn't get to go. I was trying to stay here, but I've been getting text messages and pictures of ideas and things that they've learned. So we'll bring that back and share that with our team. I'm sure Dr. Barker might have not had a chance before she had to go to her training to share with you that we do have 2 schools that have been identified for school improvement. So it's now the 3rd year, so now they've started identifying a new round. If you remember, Yeager Elementary was our only school that was on improvement last year, or the last round. Yeager Elementary performed and increased their scores and their attendance, and they come off improvement. So we've really been celebrating with Mrs. Roberts and her team. So we've got our new schools that were identified, and that is Southside and Bradshaw. So Bradshaw was on a watch list. They were called an ATS list. They were in the watch group because of their performance in their special education subgroup. So they did not show improvement. And Southside performance, they're both labeled as schools on improvement. So I will be partnering with them, and we've done this before if you have been with us. It's a whole process, a 3-year process. The State Department will create a plan, and they will come down. They will do regular leadership team meetings with us and help us put processes and procedures in place to get those 2 schools off of improvement. So we're getting ready to start that again. They do get some funding, so as we'll learn more about that, we'll present to you soon. How the State Department does that is they rank all the Title I schools, and schools that are in the bottom 5% performance of Title I schools are identified. So Southside and Bradshaw are in the bottom 5% of Title I schools in the state. But I do not want to miss the part that we need to celebrate with Mrs. Roberts and her team. So we're going to really make sure that we do that. Midterms, it's hard to believe, but they come out next week on the 30th. Time is rolling by quickly. Principals, just so you know, they are out completing safety walkthroughs with each other, those peer visits. So you'll start seeing me highlight that on Facebook, where they go to each other's schools. We give them a tool to do a walkthrough focused on something. So this time it's safety, to follow through with Mr. Lester's safety conference from the summer. And Mr. Lester and the Capitol Police and Officer Pertee and Officer Perry are doing walkthroughs using the Capitol Police safety audit forms. So Aaron will get together that data and let us know what are areas of deficiency that we need to correct for school safety. So we will get that data back, and will that be finished soon?
He's, actually, I don't know what happened today, but Donnie said he didn't show up to review today, but I haven't heard from him, so I don't know when he'll reschedule, but in like 4 weeks, I think he should get this all.
Okay, so we're getting back that data, and then Aaron's working really hard we're trying to do this in a way in which we have funding and trying to take care of the areas when we find them in schools. But the safety conference has really made a difference. Doors are not being propped open anymore. People are getting upset about it. They know that that's how people enter our buildings. So we've really been proud of seeing that. And teachers, the night lock training was successful, so we've really been putting safety first. So thank you for that. And that's all that I have.
Anybody have any questions? Comments?
The forms that these guys is using to fill out, myself, Mr. McGuire, and Miss Allen, done a walkthrough yesterday, preparing for, today, because it was supposed to show
Right.
at 10:30 today, but for some reason they didn't show up. I got those this morning, and, I printed off the no fire arms or dangerous weapons, prohibited on school property, and I laminated those and hung those on the outside of each door all the way around the
Thank you for that.
Good check for that.
Yeah.
So, the doors, I did see a couple of rocks laying on, some of the doors, and I just discarded with those, and seen a couple of the, kind of
Wedges.
hallways, the wedges, and
Yeah, so our challenge to them at the safety conference was for principals and of course you, Officer Perry, to go back and see who put those there so that we can have that conversation with them and give them a warning. And then I think that, we were talking about, even if it goes beyond that and they do it again, then we'll have to, contact you all to see what can we do for, taking that action again and not heeding that first warning. So I know that I had one staff member who saw another staff member scotching a door, and they kind of, he said, you're jeopardizing my life, every student's life here at the school, and every teacher and cooks and everybody's life. So I think they did hear the message. Of course, we didn't have everyone there, and we've been trying to talk about the importance, but thank you for taking care of that.
there were a couple doors unlocked, like Mr. Compton, I can understand why it's unlocked, you don't have a key to that door, so we're gonna work on, Jamie's working on getting him a key, and
Okay.
then Mr. Evans's door, the key that he had wouldn't operate the door, so we did find him a key yesterday.
Okay.
And I took it down there to him.
Thank you.
For what it's worth, most of the teachers are cooperating, and, hey, you can't cover that window.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Hopefully these walkthroughs, we're gonna do them regularly, so if things change, substitutes come in, and we wanna make sure everybody's, if I do a walkthrough and I see a wedge, I stick it in my pocket. So we can't do that. Yeah, throw it in the trash. Well, thank you, and Aaron will, give us maybe a report at some point of what's our next steps. I know he's purchasing, night lock. I don't wanna take your thunder. What are you doing? Go ahead and tell us about your next steps, your next safety with the shades.
Next step we have, it was due yesterday, but a couple of schools are still working on, getting the sizes of the measurements of the windows in their classrooms, doors, and we're purchasing shades, that non-flammable shades, in case of an emergency, they roll up, they're Velcro, all they have to do is pull the tab and then they fall down, nobody can see in the classroom. So we're just getting the final measurements on those, and we'll get those ordered soon.
And those can only be used in the event of an emergency or if it's a drill. We don't want the classrooms covered all the time for safety reasons, for, admin to know what's going on in the rooms, make sure everybody's safe, but just in a drill or in a real emergency to drop them.
Okay, so for my clarification here, you're talking about the little
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
door.
Yeah.
They can't be covered by the teacher, but in the event of emergency,
Right.
you can use the shade.
Drop it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just it doesn't have a cord on it. It's like a Velcro, and it just rolls right down.
Roll it up and then do the Velcro and the shade falls down.
Yeah. Right now, as a temporary fix, all of our teachers know to have a piece of paper that's that width and that length to cover it. And in the event of a drill, we practice for even a student, if we had to come and hurry and cover that so that an active shooter would know who's in the room or where they're located. But this will be much easier for teachers to be able to go and pull down. But it has to be flame retardant, so we can't buy cheap ones. We have to buy the ones that get approved, so.
Also, the RFP for weapons detection
Yeah.
came out, only had one bid, so we'll move forward with purchasing those for the two high schools.
I think
Is that,
Can that be placed on the agenda and we get an explanation for that?
what, the weapons detection?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do
Because I'm
that.
just hearing it through social media, and I think we should know about that.
Yeah,
I
so
thought we had, for some reason, I don't know if it was something.
I
did
think Dr.
anyone-
Barker had talked about it
Okay,
at one
'cause
time.
I
And
was-
so with the weapons detection, we ask our law enforcement partners, our principals of our high schools and middle schools, and Mr. Lester takes the lead, of course, on safety, and Dr. Barker and I, and we went to Oak Hill High School and watched how Oak Hill High School can run hundreds and hundreds of kids through their weapon detection system, different than the old days when we were at Mount View, and we stood in line forever
10 o'clock in
and
the
waited.
morning before first period started.
Yeah, these are super quick. They're mobile, so we can take them to football games, to basketball games, to baseball games, and they're very lightweight. It's just kind of two freestanding poles. So we actually are gonna get 2 sets for both schools, just so that we make sure that we don't, but people go through them very quickly. And then the both schools will have a procedure that if I come through and I set off the alarm, and if Officer Donnie is on the other side, he sees that my light goes off in the middle, that probably somewhere in my pockets I have something. So then I would go to the side, and at that point, the principal, SRO, whoever's there, can do a more detailed talk with me to see what I have in my pockets and those kinds of things. Most important thing that we've learned from going to Oak Hill High School, that principal shared with us the day that she put them at a basketball game, and it was unannounced. When she put it there, that 1 out of every 4 or 5 people would turn around and would go back to their cars. So that just showed her the amount of weapons that she had coming into a basketball game. So she said they use them every basketball game, and she recommended having more than one set because she has more than one sporting event going on days. So that's why Erin has tried to locate the funding with Mrs. Kahn to make sure that we have multiple sets. So we'll see. So that RFP came down, so now he'll go through that process with the vendor of getting all the documentation and take that to Mrs. Kahn. And Mrs. Kahn has some safety money that she's going to allow for that.
So if you use those, like at a football game, like, for instance, here you've got people coming in from the side over here, then you've got a main entrance.
Yeah, so
from
they'll
there.
use it at both of those gates. No one's supposed to be coming through here, and we've actually talked to Coach Lindsay when we were doing the concession stand that night, that people are trying to come in here, so he's working on a fix for that with Mr. Chapman. But so we would put them at the 2 actual ticket booths. Or if, if we had a football game and something else going on, maybe they could just close it and use just one gate. But the other, like Mr. Kennedy asked us, which is a very smart thing to think about, that he has parents who come in, sometimes they're upset, sometimes they're not, but he wants to ensure that once we use them for students, that then they take it and put it in we'll call it the fishbowl. And so anyone who comes in the building would have to go through that before they come into the campus. So I think Mr. McGuire is going to copy the same thing, because they're very mobile and could be moved very easily after students use them to any guest who comes through the building that day. But just another layer of protection.
Would you put them like at the fishbowl compared to the main entrance door?
So
I mean,
after
because they're already in the school.
right, so
by
the
time
students
they
would
get
use
there.
the main entrance doors, but once those are closed and just guests come through the fishbowl, then they would move it to the fishbowl, because that's where everybody would come in and out after that point. No one uses the main doors after students.
Okay.
So that's our plan. He said that we could get them within a day or two. They would drive them down here from, I think, near Pittsburgh or somewhere, after Aaron gets the purchase order and stuff to them. So we'll have some staff training, and I know we'll get both high schools going, and we put a post on social media, and it was nothing but positive comments from the community to know, just to have that extra layer.
I think a good idea. We had talked previously about, I know Mr. Evans is usually in the press box and this and that. I don't know who plays music, so I'm not picking on anybody in particular. But it is very annoying if you're sitting near the press box. I mean, I don't mind music, but it is so loud that you can't even have a conversation with somebody sitting on the bleachers with you. And I know they may be trying to reach over here, but at Riverview, I'm like, there's nobody over there across the field. It is right here. And it is so loud, and they don't want to turn it down, because they said the assistant coach is the only one that can give them permission to turn it down a little bit. And everybody complains. I mean, can you imagine sitting there with a hearing aid? I mean, it's just really annoying. And there was a way of playing music, but I asked them if they were playing it for the town of Bradshaw. And I'm like, we don't need it that loud. You are, blasting our ears. Are you playing this for the town of Bradshaw, at Riverview?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude. And he was like, I can't hear you. And I said, no, we can't hear each other talk as well, It was like, I know you can't hear me, and I'm hollering at you. But it is very, very annoying. And people don't like that. I mean, and they don't
We'll
need
make
it that
sure to
loud.
talk to, Mr. McGuire and set
Not
some
only there, it's,
precedents.
I mean, it sounds really good all the way over here on the other end of the field. I mean, I know that they think music, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure like at WVU that they have a big audience of people that maybe wants to hear way across this town or something, but it's a little
We'll make the
too,
recommendations.
it's too
both
loud.
of
I mean,
them.
have you ever tried to sit there and try to, you know, watch a game with, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that much music? And it's, like I said, I'm not complaining about, well, I used to complain about the words that was in the music, of course, but wasn't very family friendly. But it's just really, it's
That
too
particular
loud.
DJ here is no longer.
Yeah, I figured that one out. But I think they were told to, you know, there,
And I don't know
you
who's
can
doing
find
that.
some music that, you know, we don't like our students doing that,
Yeah.
talking like that. And certainly the music had words in it that were very not appropriate, but, you know, I don't know what the music's in, it's just too loud anyway. But,
We'll talk to both
so I
the
can't complain
principals.
about what the words say, it's just screaming. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's just, you know, a courtesy to some of the people on the bleachers, even me. The announcement of future meetings, October the 2nd, 2025, we have a regular meeting here at the board office. And this time, it is 5:36, and we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Margaret, second by Angie, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.